Hello, everybody. It is a Tuesday. That means only one thing. It's time now for True Crime Tuesday. And I am your host, Tim Dennis. We're going to do things a little bit differently today, and I'll explain why in just a second. But first, I want to bring in my co-hostess today. That's right. I'm bringing in my co-hostess first today. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is. She's intelligent. She's witty. She's funny. She has not one, not two, not three, but 57 books out at the same time. And the reason for that, well, it's because her publisher can't count and they need material, I guess. I don't know. So they put it all on her shoulders. Binder of the Hindustan Times has said, please, no more, ma'am. I can't handle the fact that you're shattering our charts, and I have too much work as it is. But a very Merry Valentine's Day to you. I hope it was good for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Jessica Freeburg. Jess, how are you?
Hey, I'm great.
Excellent.
I was going to ask how you are, but
I'll explain in a moment.
That's coming up soon.
Yeah, I'll explain in a moment as to why I may be a little less high energy than I normally am.
Yeah.
I spent the weekend in the hospital, not because of anything fun related on Valentine's Day, keep in mind.
You didn't party too hard or get
No.
something strange stuck in an orifices? Is that the word I'm looking
I had
for?
something strange stuck in an orifice, but it wasn't anything like that.
Orifice, thank you.
Yeah. No, I had a piece of steak stuck in my esophagus.
Yummy, but ouch.
Yeah. That happened Friday night. I tried as much as I could to get it out, right? By Saturday, it didn't happen. I have a restricted esophagus, and I've known this for years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and some people have great health insurance. I don't have great health insurance. It's not something that you can, go in and get done.
Yeah.
Or I get the email saying, well, just go get it, just go get it widened, Tim. Your health insurance may pay for that. Mine doesn't necessarily until it's a medical emergency. This weekend, I think, qualified for a medical emergency.
Unfortunately.
Right. So, and imagine having to tell the doctor this weekend, please don't nick my vocal cords. I use them for a living. When you go in for an endoscopy.
Yeah.
To which he said, no, we won't get anywhere close. But as you can tell, my throat's a little raw right now.
Yeah, you can hear it for sure.
Yeah. So I went in Saturday, and they do all kinds of fun little things to get that piece of meat out of your esophagus, including, well, if you've ever had it done before, they take and put some stuff in your IV to widen your esophagus, and they give you a little thing called Pop Rocks, which are not the fun Pop Rocks that are flavored. They basically introduce gases into your esophagus, which break down whatever substance is in your esophagus and then cause you to evacuate it very quickly. I'll say it very nicely, right? Which I did in a couple of shots. It came out, but then because I couldn't hold anything down afterwards, they wanted me to see the GI specialist in the morning. So I had to stay over until Sunday morning and have an endoscopy. So I had my endoscopy in the morning. So I spent all weekend in the hospital. And it was not fun. It wasn't a fun weekend for me. So, yeah, not that I'm asking for pity or anything like that. Back working this week, which is, I worked 2 days after my heart surgery. I'm back working after this too. So, but it may not be as long a program as we normally do. I asked the specialist to please not nick my vocal cords, as I said before. And he said, well, what do you do for a living? I said, well, broadcasting and podcasting. He said, oh, okay. And he said, well, what do you do? He all of a sudden he gets all interested before he goes to, shoot me up with propofol and put me under. And so I told him, and he's like, oh, that's really cool. He's like, oh, well, I won't nick your vocal cords. I mean, we don't get anywhere close. So, but he said, your throat may be a little raw for a day or two.
Yeah.
And he said, you may be a little.
Maybe he's listening.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I gave him the show address, so he may check it out.
Well, thanks, Doc.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking care of our buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you to the docs over at Mercy Hospital. So appreciate that. Um, uh, yeah. So it's been a little rough. I haven't really slept well. I'll tell you that much. I was without all of my meds for about 48 hours, including pain meds, which was not good. And as most of you know, I'm a chronic pain patient. So yeah, it was a little bit of hell there for 48 hours. But
Oh, Tim.
we're back on track. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We're gonna power through.
that's right. That's right. So we're gonna do a little rip from the headlines first, and then we'll do dumb crimes, stupid criminals, and we'll be off and running. So let's get to it, shall we, Jess? Oh, by the way, I should ask how was your Valentine's Day?
Well, much better than yours.
Okay.
I was not in the hospital. I did have a house full of 15 and 16-year-old girls running around screaming, and it was my daughter's birthday party. She turns 16 tomorrow. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, actually, when you all are listening to this, you can send good vibes to my daughter so she passes that driver's test, 'cause we want to pass it on the first try.
There you go. Well, happy birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
May you have a very successful driver's test.
She was all worried about you when I told her you weren't feeling well. So she said
Oh,
to tell you she's praying that you feel better.
oh, well, thank you very much. Tell her thank you so much.
Yeah.
And tell her okay, now I know you would never approve this, but tell her to remember this when she's driving. Remember to flip that middle finger a lot to people because
Oh, she's learned that from my mother quite well.
okay, yeah, because Minnesota drivers are assholes. That's
Yeah.
I'll throw that out there right away. So and
My
they
children learned to swear from my mother from riding in the car with my mother. That's
ah
a lot of aggression.
well, I don't blame your mom. There's I don't know when it happened. I've had this talk with many a family member, but I think it was probably 15, 20 years ago when the tide turned in Minnesota driving.
Hmm.
And it went from being Minnesota nice to Minnesota everybody everybody better look out because I'm on the road.
It's true. And I just tell myself though, like I'm just like I assume everyone's trying to do the best that they can under their circumstances, and so they must really have something urgent they need to get to.
Oh, bless your heart, Jess. No, that's no, it's just people have
Somebody's dying. It's
nah,
critical, Tim, I tell myself, so I'm not mad at them.
nah. It's just people have gotten selfish. That's all it is. It's just all it is. I, Nothing can be that important. I mean, that a little common courtesy, you know.
They might have someone having a baby in the back seat. See, this is what I tell myself. Clearly, there's a pregnant woman. The baby's crowning. It's coming out. It's happening right. They're rushing to get to the hospital.
So everybody has a baby in the back seat. Is that what it is?
That's what I tell myself. That's how I get through the day when I have to drive into the city, Tim.
It's not.
Don't ruin it for me.
It's not just the city, Jess. It's suburbs too. I'm finding it everywhere.
Yeah.
Horrible. But I digress. Let's get into ripped from the headlines, or I'll get on this traffic rant for half an hour. I will. And people say, "Well, you think it's just here, Tim?" I mean, Chicago and New York and L.A. and oh no, folks. If you haven't had the privilege of driving in Minneapolis, you have not. I mean, because for the size of the city, it's not. I mean, and even the suburbs, there's no way it should be like this.
I did say when my daughter went to California for college and she was in San Diego, I'm like, I was a little nervous about the traffic, and then we took her there for her visit, and I was like, oh, this isn't as bad as Minneapolis. You'll be
No,
fine.
right, right. No, there's, and I've driven in New York quite a bit.
Mm,
New York traffic isn't anything like this. It just to me, it just
mm.
doesn't seem like it. But because it's at least in New York, they still observe traffic rules, basic traffic rules.
Oh gosh.
We're in the upside down here in Minneapolis.
It has felt that way for a little bit.
Yeah, like the left
For
lane is the
real.
passing lane. It isn't.
Yeah.
It's the cruising lane. Right.
Oh, no, that's so frustrating. I agree.
Yeah, that's just one.
But sometimes I am in a hurry. Sometimes I have someone in the back seat having a baby and I gotta get places.
Right, right.
I'm like, get out of the fast lane. You're going so slow.
And there's a state law now. You can't do that. you
And
can't
people
hold
get
it
so
up.
mad if you wait to like merge, you use the zipper lane. It's
Mhm.
like it's literally there for us to use, but yet if you use it, everyone's mad at you
Yeah, and there is such a
and
thing
they
as
won't let
zipper
you.
merging here in Minnesota, but
Yeah.
don't try that, by God.
Don't you dare. You get in the back of the line and wait like everyone else.
That's right.
Just let that zipper lane just be sitting there open.
They'll run you off the road, by God.
Mm. Anyway.
We should
Ugh.
digress and move on here. First story, ripped from the headlines. A teen wrestler is charged with murder after his mom was found stabbed in a recycling bin.
Oh my goodness.
Must have tried for his driver's license.
I don't think she's recyclable though.
No, well, you never know.
I mean,
Well, compost.
oh no.
I hate to use the joke, but there it is. Fayetteville, North Carolina is where we're going. A 17-year-old boy has been charged with first-degree murder after his mother was found fatally stabbed at their home. Officers with the Fayetteville Police Department responded to reports of a stabbing on February 10th and found the body of 49-year-old Catherine Svaldi, a mother of three, dead from stab wounds. Svaldi's son, Isaac Tracy, was detained at the scene. According to Law and Crime, police were called to perform an urgent welfare check after one of Tracy's grandparents received a call from him allegedly, there we go, admitting he had killed his mother. WTVD reports Svaldi's body was inside a recycling bin, and police found a note on the kitchen table, reportedly from Tracy, explaining why he allegedly killed his mother. According to a police report obtained by the outlet, Tracy called 911 himself because he wanted to get himself arrested because he killed his mom. Tracy reportedly had self-inflicted wounds, and the contents of the note he allegedly wrote have not been made public. Police have not announced a motive. WRAL reports that Tracy was a member of the wrestling team at Jack Britt High School, according to a Cumberland County Schools spokesperson. Due to Tracy's age and the nature of the offense, police say he is being charged as an adult in accordance with North Carolina law. WTVD reported that he is being held without bond. His next hearing is March 3rd. The investigation is ongoing there. That's a scary, scary story.
Yeah, that's just sad.
Yeah.
He must have just had some sort of a mental break.
Yeah, that's for sure. Speaking of mental breaks, a man pleads guilty to killing an Alaska woman in a torture chamber crawl space back in 2019. We go to Homer, Alaska, where a 36-year-old man has pled has pled guilty to second-degree murder in the 2019 killing of a woman authorities say was a beloved member of her community. The state of Alaska Department of Law announced that Kirby Calderwood pled guilty to murder in the second degree on February 5th and admitted he had killed Anisha Duffy Murnane, who went missing on October 17th of 2019 at age 38. The agreement calls for Calderwood to be sentenced to 99 years in prison with 12 years suspended, followed by 10 years of probation. That's a little confusing. 99 years in prison, 12 years suspended, followed by 10 years of probation.
So he's going to jail though, right?
Yeah, yeah. But okay, so you suspend 12 years off that 99.
Takes him down to like,
That's what? I'm not great at the math, but that's still
don't make me
some
mad.
years. But then there's 10 years of probation. But the guy is, well, how old is the guy? He's 36 years old. You're
So
assuming
he's not good. Why even bother with suspending?
well, I suppose you only serve so many years of that 99.
And then you're eligible for parole, probably. So that
Huh.
maybe brings him down a little bit to when he can be eligible for parole, I
Right.
suppose.
Right.
Yeah.
Described as a beloved member of the community in Homer, Murnane resided at an assisted living facility. Police, firefighters, and other community members searched for her after she disappeared. It was investigated as a homicide, but no remains were recovered. Alaska's news source reports investigators first interviewed Calderwood in 2021. According to the state of Alaska Department of Law, authorities received a tip in 2022 that Calderwood had kidnapped and killed Murnane and disposed of her remains. An investigation determined Calderwood had worked at the assisted living facility where Murnane lived, but he reportedly moved to Utah shortly after she went missing. Later in 2022, Calderwood's wife told police her husband allegedly confessed to killing Murnane in the crawl space of a house belonging to the parents of his girlfriend at the time. No remains were found in the crawl space, but authorities did recover evidence that contained Murnane's DNA, according to the State of Alaska Department of Law. When Utah police and the FBI searched Calderwood's home, they reportedly found a watch that had belonged to Murnane, as well as a missing person poster of her. Alaska's news source reports that Calderwood was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, kidnapping, and tampering with physical evidence on May 9th of 2022. The Peninsula Clarion reported that Calderwood was extradited back to Alaska after he finished serving a jail sentence on Utah charges. According to an affidavit obtained by Alaska's news source, 2 women previously involved with Calderwood told authorities they had reported sexual violence, including rape, to the U.S. Army. One of the women reportedly told police Calderwood admitted to a pornography addiction and harming animals since childhood. At the time of Calderwood's arrest, an affidavit obtained by the Homer News reported that when his then girlfriend was out of town, Calderwood reportedly turned the crawl space of her parents' home into a torture chamber and drove around looking for someone to bring to it. Murnane, who knew Calderwood from the assisted living facility, agreed to get into the car with him as she walked to a doctor's appointment. Once at the home, Calderwood reportedly pushed Murnane to the crawl space, then restrained, raped, and killed her. Authorities say he then threw her phone into a lake. The Anchorage Daily News reports Murnane's uncle, Michael Hulsman, wrote a statement that community members in Homer had attended court proceedings on the family's behalf, hoping to maintain visibility on the case. The long delay in her case shows a failure of the criminal justice system. Delayed justices deny justice, he went on to say, and it also wastes taxpayer money. He wrote that Alaska crimes need to be investigated more quickly, thoroughly, and professionally so that more offenders are held accountable without years of delay. Oxygen True Crime reported that Murnane's stepfather, Ed Berg, said the family is pleased with the plea deal as it will keep the case out of the courtroom, and added that the public does not need to know the details of the crime. The outlet reports that Murnane's mother, Sarah Connor Murnane-Berg, died in January of 2024. According to the obituary she wrote herself, cancer or heart disease will be on the death certificate, but we all know that the real cause was the loss of my dear Duffy. Calderwood is scheduled to be sentenced on July 1st, according to the state Alaska Department of Law. Moving forward, one of the most heinous crimes ever, a mom is seeking resentencing after conviction for her son's 2013 torture death, which is being called one of the most heinous killings in California history.
Terrifying. A mother torturing her child to death? I can't even imagine.
Not just the mother, but evidently her boyfriend was involved as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. A mother
Poor
who was
kid.
convicted of first-degree murder in her son's 2013 death and sentenced to life in prison is seeking resentencing for the second time since having the request denied in 2021. KABC reports that 42-year-old Pearl Cynthia Fernandez was sentenced in 2018 to life in prison without the possibility of parole for killing her son, 8-year-old Gabriel Fernandez. Her boyfriend, Isario Aguera, who is 45 years old, was sentenced to death in 2018, and his automatic appeal to the California Supreme Court is pending. The abuse of Gabriel Fernandez began when he was just 7 years old, and he died 3 months after turning 8, according to KABC. He was routinely beaten, shot with a BB gun, and forced to eat cat feces, and made to sleep inside a small cabinet while gagged and bound.
Wow, that's so terrible.
That's horrifying.
So I feel like the punishment for the mom and the boyfriend should be the same.
Yeah, why would you resentence?
Yeah.
Why would you go back on what you were sentenced for? Prosecutors say Aguera tortured the child because he thought he was gay.
What?
How would you even know at 7 years old?
And why would you care
Yeah, and
to that?
why
Who
would you?
cares?
Yeah, why would you even care? A press release from 2018 announcing Fernandez's guilty plea states the child also suffered injuries, including a fractured skull, 12 broken ribs, and burns. In 2021, Fernandez filed a petition for resentencing, but it was denied by Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge George G. Lamelli, who said Fernandez was a major participant in the murder of a child victim. It has been established by her own admission during her guilty plea that the murder was intentional and involved the infliction of torture over a period of several months. According to Law and Crime, Deputy District Attorney Jonathan Hatami said at the 2021 resentencing hearing, clearly Pearl was involved in that child abuse, starving Gabriel, keeping him in the box for 8 months, not taking him for medical aid, pepper spraying him in the face, and hitting him with a baseball bat. KABC reports the latest petition alleges that Fernandez was or has comprehension issues and documented verbal comprehension of a second grade student and was under the mistaken impression that her case would be going to appeal when she signed the plea agreement. Atami said he would fight to make sure that resentencing does not happen and said Fernandez committed one of the most heinous crimes ever in Los Angeles County against an innocent little child, KABC reported. A hearing has been set for March 30th in Fernandez's latest petition. I don't care if she claims she has a first grade reading reading aptitude.
Yeah.
You have a lawyer.
Exactly. You have representation. They went to law school. It doesn't matter. And you're a horrible, horrible, horrible human. So,
Right. And you realized what you were doing at the time you were doing it. I mean, you were competent. So, you know,
mm,
you do what you do, you pay the price. That's essentially the way it goes down. I don't know why you think you're going to get away with something like that, but it is what it is, right?
yep.
Another heinous crime, an aspiring rapper is charged in connection with a 2021 acid attack on a college student. We go to Elmont, New York, where a 29-year-old man has been arrested in connection with a 2021 acid attack. We're not talking about the kind you pop orally. We're talking about actual acid on a college student at her home. Nafaya Ikram is a 21-year-old student at Hofstra University and was attacked in her driveway on March 17th, 2021, according to WABC. The attacker, who was wearing a hood, threw sulfuric acid on her face and then ran away. Ikram sustained severe injuries, resulting in poor vision and facial scarring. She has reportedly undergone several surgeries. On February 9th, Terrell Campbell was charged with assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and unlawfully possessing noxious material. He pled not guilty during his arraignment. WYNW reported that Campbell was identified using a combination of information from the community and cooperation from tech companies. According to WABC, he was also linked to a red Nissan Altima spotted at the scene. Police say the tipster will get a $50,000 reward, but they have not released what information the tip contained. Ikram had never heard of Campbell before he was arrested, according to WYNW. NBC New York reported that he's an aspiring rapper who goes by the name Young Based Prince. District Attorney Ann Donnelly said, "We reviewed Campbell's internet search history in the minutes following the 2021 attack. We found searches asking, how do I remove sulfuric acid from my car's fabric? And 2 years after he ambushed Nafaya and left her screaming in pain on her front lawn, he actually produced and uploaded a music video to YouTube boasting about throwing acid in a woman's face, as unbelievable as that may seem." According to People,
Wow.
according to People, Donnelly said the song in question is called Obsidian and contains the lyrics, "On the street in the night like a hitman assassin, trying to run up and have your face burned in acid," which is not only horrifying, but it doesn't rhyme. I'll just give you that.
Horrifying on so many levels, Tim. It's a terrible, terrible lyric in every possible way.
Yeah. Authorities have not released a motive. Campbell remains held without bail. If convicted, he could face up to 25 years in prison. I think he should get a little bit more than that, especially, I'll show you here, Jess, exactly what this poor woman's face looks like. This is,
Oh,
yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what her face looks like right there.
I mean, sometimes when you don't kill someone, you devastate them in such a way it should be treated similarly to killing someone because he's literally destroyed her life.
Well, he's permanently maimed her, and
Yeah.
she's scarred and maimed. She can't hear properly. I mean, she can't see properly.
Ah.
And for what? He didn't know.
Up to 20, yeah, up to 25 years. That means he's probably going to get less. That is
Yeah,
a joke.
yeah, yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. One more, and then we'll take a break here. We go to St. Louis, where a man is charged after a decomposing and partially frozen body was found next door to his home.
Yeeks.
Yeah. A man has been charged custody in connection with a body found next door to his home. KMOV reported that on January 19th, police were called to a home where a body had been discovered. Responding officers found a woman's body on a metal door, which investigators believe might have been used for transport. Her remains were nearly frozen because of the cold weather, and blood had pooled under her head. She had reportedly begun to decompose prior to freezing, according to KMOV. The St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department identified the victim as Lindsay Smith, 40 years old. She was pronounced dead at the scene. An autopsy determined that Smith had died from a gunshot wound to the head. An investigation found that on January 3rd, Smith had been texting a man who lived in the basement next door to the home where the body was found, KMOV reported. In the texts, Smith reportedly told 54-year-old Efron Tony Long that she did not feel safe at his house and wanted him to drop her off where he had picked her up. No additional texts or calls were found on Smith's phone after January 3rd. Investigators interviewed a witness who reportedly heard a woman and man arguing in Long's basement apartment, followed by a single gunshot a few days before Smith's body was found. Outside the home, investigators found blood spatter on the entryway and on the railing leading down to his door. On January 23rd, Long allegedly attempted to flee in a vehicle while being surveilled by investigators. He allegedly ran a red light and violated several traffic laws during the chase. Police reportedly used spike strips to stop him, and he was taken into custody and charged with one count of first-degree murder, armed criminal action, and resisting arrest. Long allegedly told authorities he had never seen Smith before. KMOV reported he allegedly changed his story after being shown evidence. Of course he did. Long remains held on bond. His next court appearance is yet to be scheduled. All right, when we come back, an Arizona man is sentenced to life in prison after killing a pizza shop colleague over his fixation on a female coworker. A Florida man allegedly choked a 13-year-old at a bus stop just days after being released from jail. Sounds like a great guy. A Texas woman is charged with murder after allegedly beating her boyfriend with a hammer. Happy Valentine's Day to him. And a Florida man stole $4,000 worth of meat and threw it away after finding his girlfriend cooking with another man. Again, another successful Valentine's Day story. All that and more ripped from the headlines right here on True Crime Tuesday. We have Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals on the way as well, right here on True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Along with me, my co-host, Jessica Freeburg. And Jess, the strange only gets stranger today on Rip from the Headlines. We're about to get into some strange stories here. I mean, not that...
Well, we're close to the holiday. That's all the weird things come out around the holidays, right?
That's right. That's right. We'll start it off with an Arizona man who was sentenced to life for killing a pizza shop colleague over fixation on a female coworker. It's that time of year, I guess, right?
He did it all for love, Tim.
I guess so. We go to Mesa, Arizona, where a man is convicted of first-degree murder in the death of his colleague and will spend the rest of his life in prison. Tyler McGuire, who's all of 31 years old, was sentenced January 27th for the fatal shooting of Dizo Segui, who was then 22 years old, on December 11th of 2023. Court documents obtained by KSAZ say McGuire was found guilty by a jury on November 18th of 2025 and was given a sentence of natural life in prison. According to authorities, McGuire became fixated by a female employee in 2022 when he was a pizza shop supervisor. He reportedly confronted Segui because he believed he was pursuing the same woman. McGuire purchased a mask and gun and tracked Segui's address, prosecutors said. On December 11th of 2023, McGuire shot Segui multiple times as he sat in his car in front of the apartment complex where he lived. He was booked into jail a few days later and after being linked to the case based on multiple eyewitness accounts. Once detained, McGuire was found to have a handgun and shell casings found at the scene matching the ones inside the gun. According to the outlet, McGuire used his cell phone to report the shooting. So he reported his own shooting?
That's a fascinating decision.
According to prosecutors, several entries in McGuire's journal detailed his plans to kill Segui. Arizona's family reported, "I decided a while ago I needed to kill someone. This person hurt me," one of the entries reportedly read. Interesting guy. Another Florida story in our headlines today. A Florida man allegedly choked a 13-year-old at a bus stop just days after being released from jail. We go to DeLand, Florida, where a man was recently released from jail, was taken back into custody after allegedly attacking a child waiting at a bus stop. WOFL reported that 36-year-old Christopher Schwabel was arrested January 20th and charged with aggravated child abuse and aggravated assault. Officers were dispatched to a school bus stop where a 13-year-old boy was waiting for the bus with his brother. Police allege that Schwabel choked the boy, who has not been named by authorities, and threatened him and others with a knife. When officers arrived, a witness was holding Schwabel down and told police he was driving by when he saw the child being choked. He said he grabbed his toolbox in case Schwabel was armed. Schwabel allegedly threatened the witness with a knife. The witness then reportedly hit him on the head twice with his toolbox. Good for him. That's one way of getting rid of a bad guy.
Yeah, gotta use what you got.
That's right. The boy told officers Schwabel tried hitting and punching me a bunch, he said. He showed officers an injury on his forehead and a cut on his finger and said he had been punched in the chest and arms. Other witnesses corroborated the boy's story. An investigation revealed Schwabel, who is homeless, was recently arrested on charges of indecent exposure and possession of drug paraphernalia, WOFL reported. He spent 3 weeks in jail and was released January 13th, a week before the alleged attack at the bus stop. Investigators say the previous charges are not connected to the incident on January 20th. Schwabel is in custody with bond set at $5,000. That's it. I can't believe it's not more. His first court appearance was delayed because of behavioral issues. Imagine that.
I mean, it's just too bad that there's not a better way to handle people like this. I mean, he obviously has mental illness issues. He does not need to be let out on the street.
Right.
It's just such a bummer.
Our next story involves a Missouri man who allegedly lived with roommate's decomposing corpse for 38 days.
Dang, that would be so stinky.
Right? Among other things. I mean, pretty convenient. He's not going to clean anything up. He's not going to, do anything around the house. There's other issues.
He's not going to pay his rent.
Right. There's no rent being paid. Not going to go to work. We go to Clayton, Missouri, where a man's in custody after a wellness check found he had allegedly been living with the body of his roommate for over a month. According to a probate cause statement obtained by KTVI, officers conducted a wellness check at an apartment complex in the request of property management, as well as the family of 47-year-old LaWanda McGee. When officers entered the apartment, they found McGee's body on the couch, covered with blankets and clothing.
Wow.
I don't know how that makes things better.
I mean, at least you don't have to look at it, but 38 days, you're going to be smelling it, that's for sure.
Right. KDSK reports her body was cold to the touch and showed signs of decomposition. Ew. So it was starting to stink. According to KTVI, the last time neighbors had seen McGee was in mid-December of 2025, and she last posted on Facebook on December 15th of 2025. Property management also said she was behind on her rent. According to police, McGee's roommate, 49-year-old Terrence Smith, was not in the home when McGee's body was found. But property management contacted police February 2nd to tell them that he had come back to the apartment. Smith was taken into custody without incident and charged with one count of abandonment of a corpse. KTVI reports that McGee's sister, Ashley Barnett, said he left her body for 38 days decomposing. He covered her and he tried to hide it. Family members said McGee had a 13-year-old daughter and had recently completed nursing school. She had once introduced Smith as her boyfriend, but then reportedly decided to be roommates instead when their relationship didn't work out. According to KSDK, authorities have not revealed how McGee died. Smith remains in custody on a cash-only $100,000 bond. His preliminary hearing is scheduled on March 4th. Authorities are awaiting autopsy results, and the investigation's ongoing. A Texas woman has been charged with murder after allegedly beating her boyfriend with a hammer. We go to China Grove, Texas. I didn't believe there was such a thing as a China Grove, but evidently there is. The song is true. A 32-year-old woman has been charged in connection with the beating death of her boyfriend. WOIA reports that Abigail Molina was charged with murder, property theft, and tampering or fabricating physical evidence with the intent to impair in connection with the death of 64-year-old Gilbert Parker. A little bit of an age gap there,
I'd say.
According to an arrest affidavit obtained by the outlet, Parker was found in a tool shed near the Old Path Baptist Church on January 18th, partially naked and covered in what appeared to be dried blood. There was also blood stains in the shed, as well as on clothing and 2 recliners. Investigators say Parker was unable to communicate in sentences and was going in and out of consciousness. When asked what happened to him, he was transported to a hospital where he died of his injuries on January 20th. Parker did maintenance at the Old Path Baptist Church and lived in his truck and lived in his truck in the tool shed, people reported. An investigation revealed that his wallet, cell phone, and truck were missing. Church parishioners had reportedly gone into the crime scene and thrown away drug evidence and some of Parker's belongings, according to the affidavit obtained by WOIA. One of Parker's friends reportedly told investigators that Parker and Molina had recently been in a relationship and that Parker was reportedly more involved and possessive. The friend said the two seemed to be in different places in the relationship. An autopsy found Parker had lacerations caused by a blunt stabbing tool, like the claw end of a hammer, ow, as well as a fractured skull that caused bleeding within the brain. On January 19th, Molina allegedly called police and told them she had nothing to hide. She said she acted in self-defense in the altercation that sent Parker to the hospital. On February 2nd, Parker's friend called police and told them he got an anonymous tip that the weapon allegedly used in the attack was a construction hammer with a missing claw that was thrown into a drainage culvert in San Antonio, Texas. The hammer was reportedly found near Molina's home, and the missing claw was consistent with the lacerations on Parker's head. Molina's ex-boyfriend told police he talked to her on January 15th, and she allegedly told him, "I effed up." The ex-boyfriend told police Molina said Parker hit her, and she allegedly blacked out and hit him repeatedly with the hammer while he cried and asked for help. According to WOIA, Molina allegedly admitted to him that she washed blood from her clothing. The ex-boyfriend says he broke up with Molina after she allegedly assaulted him. WOIA reports Molina allegedly took Parker's truck to get washed and detailed. She attempted to sand and paint it herself before selling it to a Houston, Texas-based Cars for Cash business for $300.
Wow, she was gonna paint it. She sanded it. That's a lot of work.
Especially for $300.
Yes.
During interviews with authorities, Molina allegedly appeared overly nervous and gave vague answers about her relationship with Parker. And when she had last seen him, she allegedly would not let investigators look at her cell phone. Molina was charged February 5th and booked into the Bexar County Jail, according to People magazine.
Fascinating that she claimed she blacked out while he was crying and pleading for her to stop, because you wouldn't know that he was crying and pleading for you to stop if you were actually blacked out.
Right.
You wouldn't know that was happening.
Right. You'd have no
Kind
idea.
of the nature of being blacked out is you don't remember anything. So
Right. Right. Yeah, I think
Girl.
he's fully into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next story, 3 frat brothers are charged after their pledge dies of alcohol poisoning. We go to Flagstaff, Arizona, where 3 members of a fraternity at Northern Arizona University have been charged with hazing and taken into custody following the death of a new member. On January 31st, around 9 a.m., police responded to a report of an 18-year-old man found unresponsive in a home. According to the Flagstaff Police Department, he was not breathing, and though life-saving measures were attempted, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Detectives executed a search warrant at the residence and interviewed witnesses who had been there throughout the night. The Associated Press reports that the student, whose name was not released, was a new member or pledge of the Delta Tau Delta fraternity. He had reportedly consumed a large amount of vodka as part of an initiation event where, with other potential members, in which a bottle was passed around. They had to drink enough to ensure that they vomited. Witnesses told police some other people looked up alcohol poisoning symptoms online after hearing the 18-year-old snoring loudly around 3 a.m. Carter Eslick, Ryan Creech, and Riley Cass, all 20 years old and executive board members of the Delta Tau Delta fraternity, were charged with hazing and booked into jail. According to People magazine, hazing is described as the act in which a person is forced to consume food or liquid, including alcohol or other substances, which may cause a substantial risk to their health. The AP reports that Jack Kremen, who is the fraternity CEO, said, "Our position on hazing is clear. It is the antithesis of brotherhood and a violation of the values of Delta Tau Delta. The Northern Arizona University chapter of the fraternity has been suspended temporarily while the school conducts its own investigation," according to the outlet. That investigation, by the way, is ongoing. Okay, and finally, for this edition of Ripped from the Headlines, a Florida man steals $4,000 worth of meat and then throws it away after finding his girlfriend is cooking with another man.
There's a reaction.
It's a choice, right? We go to Palm Coast, Florida. A man who allegedly stole thousands of dollars in meat from 2 supermarkets after throwing most of it away after he found his girlfriend cooking with another man. WPTV reports that the Flagler County Sheriff's Office arrested Hyannis O. Alvarez Reyna, who is 30 years old. He was charged with felony retail theft and taken into custody on a $5,000 bond. The thefts reportedly occurred January 5th at 2 different Publix grocery stores, according to WPTV, and Reyna was connected to them weeks later through surveillance footage and investigative leads. Reyna allegedly took $1,574.86 worth of beef and lamb from one store and went to a second store 20 minutes later where he allegedly took $2,084 worth of pork, sirloin, brisket, tenderloin, and personal care items. Once he was identified, Reyna told detectives that he allegedly took the meat. He drove to his girlfriend's house where he saw that she was cooking with another man, according to WPTV. This prompted him to throw away the meat. But of course, because why would you keep the meat after you've seen her cooking with another man?
He was so mad, Tim. He just had to throw the meat away.
That is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm glad that's all he did.
Right. I mean, he got jealous and went, well, I have to throw it away.
I'm throwing the meat away, I tell you. I'll do it.
This was for you. I did this all for you, but you know what? Nevermore. The story keeps blacking out on me here for some reason. Probably because it's like, you know what? Do you need to go further than that?
It's like, it's enough.
Once he was identified, Reyna told detectives that after he allegedly took the meat, he drove over to his girlfriend's house where he saw that she was cooking with another man. This prompted him to throw away that meat. This wasn't a case of someone trying to meet their budget. This was a calculated high-stakes operation that left 2 stores with significant losses, Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley said in a statement where he was clearly having too much fun with the story. While the suspect selection was choice, he said his method wasn't kosher.
So many witty things.
Right. According to the sheriff's office, Reyna is a Cuban national and is also being held on detainer from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So
busted and then busted again.
That indeed. Well, you know, what you won't do for love, right?
Does that make him a violent criminal?
For throwing away meat?
No.
Or just for what? For
no, just throwing away the meat.
I guess, right? Well, Jess, it's that time for us to lighten things up a little bit, especially after finding all those groceries discarded. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency? I need help. And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again, the time you've all been looking forward to. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. And with that, of course, we bring back our co-hostess, Jessica Freeburg. Jess, we're going to start off Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals today with the classic tale of you just can't stay away when something's too good, even if you're a fugitive from justice. We're going to start.
Nothing's keeping you away.
That's right. We're going to start it off at the Winter Olympics.
Oh.
Right? I mean,
I've been watching those.
A lot of people have. But it turns out that a Slovak fugitive who had been on the run for 16 years finally got arrested when he turned up in Milan to support his national ice hockey team at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. You think he would have known better? The 44-year-old man, who was not named, was wanted by Italian authorities for a series of thefts committed in 2010. The Carabinieri, Italy's, yes, I can read. Italy's military police. I can belt out Carabinieri, but I can't get Italy out. Italy's military police managed to track down and arrest the man Wednesday after he checked into a campsite on the outskirts of Milan, thanks to an automatic alert from the campsite's reception. The man was taken in Milan's San Vittore prison to serve a pending sentence of 11 months and 7 days, according to the Carabinieri. The man, who did not manage to see the opening game in which Slovakia's hockey team beat Finland 4-1 at Milan's Santa Giulia Arena on Wednesday, I guess wouldn't get to follow his team throughout the Olympics, which is sad, really. I mean,
that's a bummer.
Took that big risk, and big risk it, no biscuit for that guy.
Yeah, big risk didn't pay off.
That's right. For our next story, we go to Kansas, where, again, kind of a creepy age difference on this deal. A Kansas man is accused of shooting at Seattle police officers. That's not unusual. What's unusual is how old this man is and why he did it. The 62-year-old Kansas man was reportedly following his 18-year-old ex-wife.
No.
Yes.
Ew.
She called police on Thursday night in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood. A 62-year-old Kansas man was accused of shooting at 3 Seattle police officers in Ballard on Thursday night, according to the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. The call originated when his 18-year-old ex-wife said he was following her. You think? Christopher Michael Bowman is charged with first and second degree assault. He remains hospitalized in critical condition after officers returned gunfire. I'm guessing they were better shots than he was, and shot him on February 12th. Happy Valentine's Day to you, sir. His bail is set at $3 million. Bowman's extensive criminal history consists of out-of-state incidents, including felony convictions for rape, attempted aggravated robbery, and kidnapping. You wouldn't imagine he was an ex-con, would you?
I mean, this is all tracking, actually.
Yeah. On Thursday night around 6 p.m., an 18-year-old woman told police her ex-husband, identified as Bowman, was following her and that he was likely carrying a gun. The woman went into a QFC and was unsure if the suspect followed her into the store. 3 Seattle police officers responded to the area of 28th Avenue Northwest and Northwest 62nd Street after the woman called 911. When officers contacted Bowman on the street, a witness said the officer told him to take his hands out of his pockets at that point. Bowman allegedly then pulled out a pistol and aimed at officers, always a bad idea, and began firing. The Seattle officers returned fire, striking Bowman. One officer was injured with a graze wound to the leg during the shooting. The King County Independent Force Investigations Team is in charge of the investigations. The shooting was near Adams Elementary School. In an email to families, Principal Douglas Sohn said a teacher's lounge window was struck by the bullet. No one inside the building was injured, and there's no indication that any student, staff, or families were directly involved or harmed during the incident. No, but if they would have waited 20 minutes, I'm sure Bowman would have went over and found himself a new wife. I'll tell you that much. That probably would have happened.
Yeah, hitting up the local schools. I
Mhm.
mean, if they're divorced and she's 18, how old was she when they started dating?
That's a good
Ugh,
question,
yikes.
right?
So gross.
Very much so. A driver flees after crashing into an Osceola County police cruiser. Yes, I know what you're saying, Jess. We're going back to Florida.
I love it there.
Yeah, we're going to Osceola County, Florida, where deputies in Osceola County said they are looking for a driver who crashed into a police cruiser and fled the scene. An identified driver remains at large after ramming an Osceola County deputy's patrol car and leading a pursuit that ended in a crash on Interstate 4 early Wednesday morning. The suspect fled on foot following the collision and was the subject of a canine search in the area. The encounter began at approximately 4:20 a.m. at the intersection of Poinciana Boulevard on U.S. Highway 192. A deputy initially observed a white Tesla stopped in the roadway with a driver who appeared asleep or passed out behind the wheel. Deputies said the driver eventually woke up as the deputy waited for backup to arrive at the scene. According to the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, the driver then rammed the patrol car and fled westbound on U.S. Highway 192. Deputies engaged in a pursuit and successfully deployed spike strips to puncture the white Tesla's tires. Despite the damaged tires, the driver continued onto Interstate 4, where the vehicle eventually crashed into a barrier. Following the crash, the driver abandoned the vehicle and fled the area on foot. It says here that local Channel 9 is gathering more information and will provide updates on their eyewitness news. So if you get it in your area, by gosh, check in with Channel 9.
Let them know.
Yeah, they'll give you all the deets as to what's happening there. We're going to Japan for this next story, where a student pilot of a Japanese airline is arrested for alleged illegal drug use. We're going to Kita-Yushu. There you go. I'll get it right. Where police have arrested a 24-year-old man last month for allegedly using an illegal stimulant while a student pilot for the Fukuoka prefecture-based Starflyer airline. After joining the Japanese airline in April of 2025, he had boarded passenger flights 34 times between November 17th and January 16th, including piloting 2 domestic flights in late December. Starflyer fired the student pilot on January 27th after police arrested him on January 19th. He's already been indicted. The police said they withheld the arrest from the public to prioritize their investigation. According to the airline, instructors detected nothing out of the ordinary when they checked the student pilot's physical appearance, and breathalyzer tests had shown no abnormalities. We would like to apologize deeply, a company official said. adding that the airline would redouble its efforts to ensure safe and secure transport operations. The airline reported the matter to the Transport Ministry on January 19th. Starflyer, based in Kitayushu, Fukuoka Prefecture, operates many code share flights with All Nippon Airways. So there you go. An interesting story out of Truckee and the Safeway there. That is, if we can get the story to populate here.
I think your iPad wants you to go take a nap.
I know, right? The iPad is doing the story shuffle here. We'll give it a second here to reboot. 5612. I think I need that nap.
Yes, you do.
I'm starting to feel like fall over.
Oh, you're making it. You're getting through.
Almost. Even Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals this week is kind of, it's not all the way.
It's okay. They're good. I feel like they're not leaving me with a lot to like comment on though.
No, I know it's not a very good Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals this week.
So I'm just listening.
Stories are.
Every now and then I'm tempted to make a noise, but then I'm like, don't say anything if I've got nothing to add. Just let them carry on.
It's all right. I'll give you a good pause with anything decent, but all right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, the Truckee Safeway. A driver is arrested. A driver arrested accused of intentionally hitting a group of people outside the Truckee Safeway.
Yikes. With his truck? That's kind of terrifying.
It is terrifying. A man was arrested Saturday afternoon after police say he intentionally drove into a group of people outside a Truckee grocery store. Truckee police officers were called to the Safeway on Donner Pass Road. I wonder what they have to eat there on Donner Pass Road. Around 2:45 p.m. on February 7th. Yeah, I know. Kind of a gross joke, right?
You know, just people.
Just people. It's all people. It's people meat. Around 2:45 p.m. on February 7th, for reports of a vehicle hitting multiple pedestrians. Investigators say 49-year-old Jonathan Maurer of Coalinga drove into a group of people that included both adults and children, injuring 4 people. According to a GoFundMe page, the group included members of a youth baseball team called the Tahoe Titans. They weren't that big if they got run right over, I'll tell you that much. I know, it's a bad joke.
They weren't really Titans if they could be smushed by a truck.
That's right. The team was selling beef jerky outside the store to raise money for an upcoming trip to Cooperstown when the suspect allegedly drove through their display and tore into the store. Oh, God. I don't think they're going to Cooperstown anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Plans have been changed.
That's right. Maurer was taken into custody and booked into a local jail on several charges, including assault with a deadly weapon, felony vandalism, and violation of his post-release community supervision terms. Police say all 4 people who were hurt are expected to survive. Well, that's good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
That's right. Kind of an odd story here for Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals, but this is a story where justice didn't get done, at least in my opinion. A Maine high school has suspended 19 students who stood up to an alleged bully targeting an autistic student.
So they got in trouble for that? They should get rewarded.
Got suspended.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's get the details on this, shall we? 19 Maine high school students were suspended after they took matters into their own hands on Thursday morning and confronted a student they believed was bullying an autistic student. This according to the school superintendent. In a letter to families following the incident, Oxford Hills High School Superintendent Heather Manchester said the students were suspended for coming together as a disruptive and potentially dangerous group to respond to a rumored incident of violence in the bus loop. This according to WGME. But parents claim the students were sticking up for a fellow student with autism and verbally confronted the alleged bully without resorting to violence. It comes after panic at another high school where 30 students were assessed after a terrifying incident. The mass suspension kicked off a disagreement between parents and school officials who gave contradicting statements over the severity of the alleged bullying incident and the response from the group of concerned students. Principal Paul Bickford, in a letter to parents, said the students' actions created an intimidating and threatening environment. He also called the alleged bullying incident nothing but a rumor and said the 19 students should not have attempted to take matters into their own hands. Veronica McKinney, mother of one Oxford Hills student who was not a part of the suspended group, maintained that the group was nonviolent. They kept their hands off. They used their words, she told WGME. School officials investigated a report that alleged a student had kicked another student with autism at the bus stop on Wednesday while he was showing a snowball to his friends. Several students witnessed the incident while waiting for their bus, one of whom went looking for the alleged bully at school the following day with the intent of asking why he had bullied someone. One of the suspended students told the Advertiser-Democrat. Other students began to follow, eventually forming a crowd around the alleged bully. Only one person in the group spoke to the student accused of kicking the autistic student, that according to the suspended student. When school staff noticed the crowd, they intervened and removed the alleged bully from the middle. Administrators identified the students that had gathered and began notifying their parents. Their suspensions ranged from 2 to 5 days. The story quickly caught attention among school parents on social media, many of whom defended their children's presence in the crowd and condemned the school's decision to suspend them. The child in question was bullying an autistic child verbally. McKinney told WGME. They confronted a bully who has been known to injure people who cannot defend themselves. My son is in 10th grade and friends with some of the kids in the group. Chris Chisholm, who's a parent of one of the suspended students, told the Advertiser-Democrat. The vice principal said that in the video, my son was doing nothing wrong. So there's video of this incident. But it was a threatening situation, Chisholm said. He was suspended for being a spectator, arms crossed, and standing there in the background. It makes about as much sense as watching a parade and getting punished.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Another parent said their first reaction was to ground their son upon hearing of the suspension. But when they learned he had stood up against an alleged bully, they decided they would not punish him further. I support my son standing up against bullies, parent Channing Locke told the Advertiser-Democrat. We taught him to take it seriously. He has never gotten in trouble before. In her letter to families after the incident, Manchester said she was launching a weeks-long review to better understand why students were compelled to organize as a group to respond to a rumored incident of violence when there should have been a reliance on trusted adults and school practices to address the concern. Well, I'll tell you why, because you're not doing anything about it. That's why.
Exactly.
And the kids took it into their own hands.
And good for them.
Yeah.
And they weren't violent about it. They took it into their own hands in a very responsible way. If I was those kids' parents, I'd be taking them all out for ice cream.
That's right. That's right. Manchester wrote, over the next several weeks, we will be reviewing our systems, talking with students, teachers, parents, and administrators. We will include recommendations to the school board on the steps we can take and the resources we need to build even more trust in how our school community responds to real or rumored incidents of bullying, violence, and student safety. You know, you can speak a lot of words and you can yap as an administration, but what do you do in the end? Right? What do you do to keep kids safe, especially those that are being picked on?
Not enough. I can tell you from personal experience with my own child being bullied, definitely not enough.
Right. And it's a matter of, you know, what an administration does is they say, well, it's he said, she said, and, you know, I got to believe both sides, and, you know, that's where it ends up, you know?
Yeah, it's rough. It's hard to know what to do. I know with my son, he was getting picked on really badly by this one particular boy and a group of kids, and everyone was seeing it. And my son was going to teachers and going to the principal and like telling them, they're following me around, they're threatening to beat me up till I don't have any blood left in my body.
Oh my God.
And it was and this was like an elementary school, but my son was like this gentle kind of, kid who would never hurt anyone. And I finally told him, I'm like, you're bigger than him. Like, if he hits you, hit him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but that's what I told him. Like, I'm really tired of him bullying you. I did actually say, if you don't hit him back, I'm going to hit him back, and I'm a grown up. I'll go to jail. So you got to take care of yourself. But when I got called into the principal's office because he finally stuck up for himself, I said, good, I'm going to take him out for ice cream. That's exactly what I told the principal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's been telling you, and nobody's doing anything to help him. So what's a kid going to do?
Right. Exactly. I mean, if the administration won't stand up for kids that are being bullied, well, there's only two things you can do. Either one, your friends stick up for you and they come in and they exact justice, or two, you take it upon yourself and you exact justice. But, if no one's sticking up for you, you've got to do something.
Yeah, it's tricky. As a former teacher, I know it's hard to like observe everything, but also, there's a lot that goes on in schools where kids are getting picked on and there's just not enough done to protect them.
Yeah. Yeah. Our next story has to do with a man who is arrested after destroying over 15 mailboxes and driving recklessly, according to officials. Of course, you thought it was a childhood game, but not according to this guy. We go to Evansville, Indiana, where Mount Vernon police say a man is in jail after driving recklessly and hitting several mailboxes. According to a press release, officers were dispatched to West 6th Street in response to a vehicle driving recklessly through alleys and hitting trash cans. Officials say they eventually found the vehicle driving on Vista Drive. On Vista and Lawrence Drives, the vehicle drove through several yards, destroying over 15 mailboxes, along with landscaping at homes on both sides of the road. Officers say they attempted to conduct a traffic stop on the vehicle, but the driver, later identified as Brandon Mattingly, refused to stop and led them on a chase that lasted over 20 minutes. They say during the chase, the vehicle lost a rear tire but continued fleeing from officers and deputies.
Oh my gosh.
I know. He's full of piss and vinegar, isn't he?
It's like a movie.
It is. Mattingly eventually drove to the end of Curtis Road, where he drove through two closed gates on private property. Officers were able to eventually get the vehicle stopped by boxing in the vehicle. Mattingly was taken into custody and refused to submit to alcohol tests. One MVPD officer and one Posey County Sheriff's Office deputy were injured, and 3 police vehicles were damaged during the incident. Mattingly was arrested and booked at the Posey County Jail. He faces the following charges: criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon ×2, resisting law enforcement causing bodily injury, resisting law enforcement with a vehicle ×2, operating while intoxicated with endangerment, leaving the scene of an accident, reckless driving causing property damage, criminal mischief, and operating while intoxicated. One homeowner that this paper I'm looking at spoke to says Mattingly destroyed many items in her yard. Not only my mailbox, but some decor that I had out front, says Barbara Mosley. Now I have to get somebody to come and fix it for me. Gosh darn it. She says she found out early in the morning with a police note on her door. I had a letter from the police officer. When my grandson got to get on the school bus, he laid it in the kitchen. So I thought it was his homework. The grandson, that is. I opened it up and it was a letter from the police department saying that stuff got destroyed, Mosley said. Police say the chase ended when law enforcement boxed in his SUV. When was the last time the police left you a note saying that stuff got destroyed?
Sounds kind of Mayberry-ish, right? Like Andy Griffith show.
Officials with the Mount Vernon Police Department say luckily officers had only minor injuries during the melee. Then getting him out of the vehicle, an officer and a deputy both sustained cuts to their hands. Justin Rutledge, the chief of police for the Mount Vernon Police Department, said they're okay. Luckily, he didn't require stitches or anything like that. Rutledge says he's proud of the response made by his officers. I want the citizens, Mount Vernon and Posey County, to know that the officers did a fantastic job. They took the call seriously, got in there quickly, and safely pursued the subject. That property damaging fool. Police say if you've damaged property or if you have damaged property, you can reach out to the Mount Vernon Police Department for next steps. I don't know if they have a handyman on staff that comes out and fixes your stuff, but That could be part of it.
Maybe. I mean, they're a quaint enough place. They're leaving notes for people from the police. Maybe they have a handyman on staff who goes out and just fixes everything right up.
Maybe it could be a I don't want to say a damageless crime because there was damage done, but maybe it's a self-solving crime.
Yeah. And then they all go fishing together afterwards.
That's right, down at the fishing hole.
I'm moving there. I like it.
Yeah, it sounds nice, doesn't it? Well, our next story involves a frosting fury, Jess. A frosting fury is a man is accused of throwing a cupcake at a Cape Coral City employee. I don't know why they just didn't open their mouth and catch it. We go to Cape Coral, Florida, where a political feud has led to a projectile food flinging at 4 Mile Ecological Preserve in Cape Coral after a man was arrested for launching a cupcake at a city employee. The incident occurred on January 15th when a City of Cape Coral employee reported a man had thrown a cupcake at him after a verbal dispute about politics. The alleged thrower, I know, it's just stupid, isn't it?
It's great.
The alleged thrower, 59-year-old David Sternal, was found at a nearby gazebo with frosting on his person, claiming the city employee threw the cupcake at him. Cape Coral police responded to the incident and conducted an interview with Sternal. According to police, his speech and behavior were disorganized, prompting a Baker Act investigation. Sternal confirmed with law enforcement that he is aware of his surroundings and did not have any intent to harm himself or others. The city employee chose not to press charges against Sternal. However, at the request of a Parks and Rec supervisor, he was formally trespassed from the preserve before leaving the area without further incident. Sternal was taken into custody where he faces the following charges: criminal mischief for damage to property over $1,000. What was damaged over $1,000 for the cupcake?
How big was that cupcake?
I don't know. And a weapon offense for a missile into a dwelling.
The cupcake is officially a weapon.
It's a missile.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. By the way, he remains inside the Lee County Jail.
I'm making an example out of him, I guess.
I guess.
Don't waste cupcakes. Damn it.
If you thought that was a fun story, I've got another one for you. Again, in Florida, a Florida couple is arrested after a pickleball game turned into an ugly 20-person brawl at a glitzy country club.
What, over pickleball? That's supposed to be all, calm and elderly, right?
The only thing that happens there is a knee injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, not this time. Police arrested a couple in Florida after a game of pickleball allegedly descended into a massive brawl involving more than 20 people. Good God. 63-year-old Anthony Sapienza and his wife, 51-year-old Julianne, were detained following the fight at Spruce Creek, which is a country club not far from Daytona Beach. As reported by People magazine, the Sapienzas were taking on another couple in the morning of Super Bowl Sunday when tensions came to a boil. Before long, both police officers and fire and rescue were called to the country club in response to a physical fight in progress on the pickleball court involving over 20 individuals. According to the police affidavit, the teams hurled insults at each other, with Anthony Sapienza accused of yelling, "Your wife is a cunt." I probably should have put this in not safe, but, that's kind of a fun word to throw out there. After he was confronted by the woman's husband, Sapienza then approached him and punched him on the left side of his face and struck him with a pickleball paddle, causing significant bleeding, police allege. The man was rushed to the hospital for treatment after allegedly suffering a laceration above his eye. Anthony Sapienza is also said to have forcefully pushed the man's wife to the ground as she tried to help her husband. Nice guy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
He called her a bad name and then he physically touched her, like assaulted her.
And he assaulted her, right?
And he's in his 60s. Like, he's definitely old enough to know better.
Mm-hmm. All's fair in love and pickleball. The man was rushed to the hospital for treatment after allegedly suffering a laceration above his eye. Anthony Sapienza is also said to have forcefully... Oh, I read that part already. Another individual, age 70, claimed to have tried to break up the brawl, only to be punched in the face by Anthony Sapienza. He's on a roll. Their nose reportedly began to bleed profusely. Police were called, but according to the affidavit, Anthony and Julianne Sapienza fled the scene before being tracked down and arrested. It said the pickleball first became heated when Anthony Sapienza accused their opponents of going into the kitchen, which is an area at the front of the court where players are banned from volleying the ball. Arrest records show that Julianne Sapienza was detained on a charge of felony battery on a person 65 years of age or older, while Anthony faces 2 counts of felony battery on a person 65 or older, as well as aggravated battery of causing bodily harm. They were released on bonds totaling nearly $10,000. Anthony Sapienza is alleged to have used the pickleball paddle as a deadly weapon, according to reports, with a hearing slated for March 3rd.
Well, it's less ridiculous than the cupcake being a missile.
Right. Right, you are.
Oh, it's so funny. Everyone in that story was just as I would expect, elderly. But I shouldn't say it's an elderly sport because my kids play it. Like, they love it.
Yeah, it's mainly an elderly sport,
I
but
do think of it as being something for like people of our age and older.
yeah. But I mean, everybody can play pickleball. It is mainly an older sport.
I'll be surprised if they don't add it to schools as like an
Oh,
athletic activity. They should.
yeah. It's very tennis-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Our next story is about a wanted man who claimed to be George Costanza.
Oh,
From Seinfeld.
yes.
A
Best
Florida
shows
man.
of all time.
That's right. Again, we're staying in Florida. A Florida man who matched the description of a wanted suspect told police that his name was George Costanza. An inept ruse that resulted in an obstruction charge. Officers were patrolling a fishing pier or entertainment park in Clearwater, Florida, when they confronted a man who resembled the description of a subject with an active arrest warrant issued in a neighboring county. Based on prior interactions with law enforcement, the cops believed the man to be Josiah Darling, who's a 30-year-old transient. Darling, who was recently arrested for trespassing, failed to appear for a January court hearing, prompting a judge to order his arrest. When Officer Matthew Capone asked the suspect to identify himself, the defendant responded with George Costanza, according to the arrest report. When adopting the name of a Seinfeld character, of course, one might consider a lesser-known figure like Kenny Bania or David Putty. I mean, those would be better, right?
Yeah. People wouldn't know it right away, but
You wouldn't think.
unless they're super fans.
That's right. That's right. Subsequent to providing police with the Costanza handle, Darling was positively identified via facial recognition. In addition to being arrested on the outstanding trespass warrant, Darling was charged with resisting an officer and booked into the Pinellas County Jail. Darling this morning pleaded no contest to the misdemeanor resisting count and was ordered to pay fines and court costs totaling about $550. He would have had little defense to the Costanza count beyond George's classic contention that it's not a lie if you believe it. That's all we have on that one.
Truth.
All right. It's time now for our Not Safe for Work part of our program. Of course, if you have kids that are sitting around and not watching Seinfeld, maybe put them in front of Seinfeld at this point. Although not that particular episode where they have the masturbation contest. That would be
They're going to learn bad things either way, but
that's
they'll
true.
be funny kids. They'll be well-rounded.
And if your boss is listening, maybe put them in front of the masturbation episode. Probably be a good idea. And we'll get going here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We talked Winter Olympics earlier. It turns out there's a bit of a controversy, Jess, as the Italian Olympic Village has taken part, Italian Olympic coverage is taking part in Penisgate 2.
Penisgate?
That's right.
I didn't even know there was a Penisgate 1.
Evidently there is, but this is the second one.
Okay.
As they've taken the Vitruvian man's genitals away.
Wait, how do you do that?
Well, you just erase it off TV.
Oh.
State broadcasters in Italy are accused of censorship over the opening titles that used altered versions of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man with his organs removed. So they've taken away his twig and berries.
Oh, they just want to keep it family friendly. They don't want everyone seeing his junk.
I guess. Although, why be proud now? Especially in Italy, I guess.
I know, he's a work of art.
That's right. Italy's state broadcaster Rai has been accused of censorship after using an image of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man with the genitals missing in the opening credits for its Winter Olympics coverage. The image of the 500-year-old drawing appears at the start of the clip before transforming into the bodies of ice skaters, skiers, and other winter sports athletes. The imperfection was first picked up by Corriere della Sera, which asked, "What happened to the Vitruvian Man's genitals?" The newspaper noted that all the other attributes of the Vitruvian Man's body appeared to have been faithfully reproduced, except for that one detail, which appeared to have been redacted. Backlash from the Italian opposition, which often accuses Giorgia Meloni's far-right government of dominating the public broadcaster, was swift. Deputies from the center-left Democratic Party have raised questions over the matter in Parliament, urging the culture minister, Alessandro Giuli, to shed full light on the use of the image of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man in the Olympics opening credit broadcast by Rai. The politicians want to know if Rai was formally authorized to reproduce the Renaissance artist's drawing, which they described as an absolute masterpiece, and whether the permission for the image's alteration was granted by the custodians of the original works. Irene Manzi, the Democratic Party group leader of the Culture Committee in the lower house of Parliament, said Leonardo's Vitruvian Man was tampered with and censored, censored with the genitals from the original works removed, an incomprehensible and unacceptable choice. Did Rai really go so far as to alter a Leonardo? Manzi asked. Rai said the accusation of censorship was another spurious controversy, improperly targeting the public broadcaster, and dismissed it as yet another fake news story. In a statement, the broadcaster said the management and production of the opening credit was entrusted to the Olympic Broadcasting Services, not to Rai, which limited itself to broadcasting the official opening credit without any possibility of intervention or modification. The debacle comes amid protests from Rai sports journalists in response to blunders made by the network's sports director, Paolo Petrecca, throughout his commentary on the opening ceremony of the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. Petrecca mistook the Italian actor Matilda De Angelis for Mariah Carey. Whoops. The journalists union, Usagrai, said reporters for news programs across the network's channels would on Friday remove their bylines from their work in a show of solidarity with their sports colleagues. The Vitruvian Man row is the second genital-based controversy of the games. So far, claims that ski jumpers were injecting hyaluronic acid into their private parts to increase the surface areas of their suits became known as Penisgate. So that was the first Penisgate.
I do remember hearing that. Oh, goodness, the things they'll do to win.
This would be Penisgate number 2.
I hope there's a number 3. What are they going to do next with the penises?
I don't know, but, it's become an exciting Olympics nonetheless. All right. Our next story, not safe for work, has to do with why people are hanging illegal toilet seats off the coast of Florida. Maybe because it's that kind of state.
Decorative, like out of trees? Can't wait to hear.
I'll show you a picture, but I don't think it's that decorative. Putting up toilet seats violates the law, according to deputies. I'll give you an idea of what this looks like, Jess. It's not a great picture, but it's happening. It's happening off the coast of, if I can get the story to scroll back down here, off the coast of Plantation Key in Islamorada. There we go. Here's what it looks like. Pardon me for burping.
Oh.
I am.
The one is like a skull and crossbones.
Yeah, some people get decorative with it, but most people don't.
Okay.
Some people just have sayings on them.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Off the coast of Plantation Key in Islamorada, you can expect to find a rather strange sight. Sitting along both sides of a short channel are a bunch of toilet seats. This channel, aptly dubbed Toilet Seat Cut, is a local mainstay for many on Plantation Key. According to Florida Keys historian Brad Bertelli, the whole issue stems back to the 1950s when a man named Vernon Lamp decided he wanted a shortcut to the nearby Founders Park, which was a hot place to visit at the time. In the bayside areas of the Florida Keys, the water tends to be much shallower and difficult to navigate. So Lamp decided to clear a path through a seagrass bed to make his own shortcut. Well, so far, so good, right?
Smart. Yeah,
Kind of, sort of, right?
sure.
He kind of carved this little cut to make his commute or his trip aboard his boat a little shorter, Bertelli told News 6. And he put a couple of poles in it to stake his entrance and the exit. Okay, not bad so far, but why the toilet seats, right? While the process is illegal nowadays due to the harm it poses to the environment, Lamp ultimately managed to carve out his shortcut through the bay. But in 1960, the channel would get a new look when Hurricane Donna, one of the strongest hurricanes to hit Florida, struck the Keys as a Category 4 hurricane, killing several people and leaving destruction in its wake. In the aftermath of Donna's rampage, though, a toilet seat was left hanging from one of the pole markers along Lamp's cut. Apparently, he was a man with a sense of humor, and he took the toilet seat home and cleaned it, painted it, and posted it back on his little cut, Bertelli explained. In the decades to follow, the trend caught on with other locals who decorated their own toilet seats placed along the cut, earning the spot its modern moniker. These markers weren't just unique art pieces, though. They helped designate both sides of the boat, or both sides of the cut, so boaters didn't accidentally ground themselves in the surrounding shallow waters. In recent years, Bertelli said, toilet seat cut has become littered with dozens of these lavatorial art projects. If a storm blows one away, another is sure to take its place. It's not all just a joke, though. Some of them honor people who have passed, people who have died, and people who have moved away, Bertelli stated. There are scores of them now. One of them I'm looking at says, mirror, mirror on the pole, who's the drunkest below? It's marked.
Not a great rhyme, but kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. That's for sure. Let's see here. The story keeps moving on me here.
I kind of like it. I think they should keep them.
I think so too. Visitor Tamara Scharf kayaked out to the toilet seat cut to explore the site where her then fiance nearly 10 years ago. Around that time, Scharf said a local told her about the cut, which wasn't widely known even within the Florida Keys back then. We have a good sense of humor, so as soon as we hear about it, we were obsessed and just had to go out there to see it, she told News 6. However, it's not recommended that people go out there to put up their own contributions. It's actually against the law to put these toilet seats up. It's not legal for you to put out unpermitted navigational aids. It never has been, said Monroe County Deputy Nelson Sanchez. Despite that, Sanchez added that as of last year, no one had been arrested yet for doing so. They do it very stealthily, and quite frankly, it has to be Coast Guard or somebody else to enforce the navigational aid that's done improperly, Sanchez explained. Either way, toilet seat cut is open to the public, so there are plenty of opportunities to take a look for yourself. While a boat might make the journey easier than a kayak or canoe, just be careful about the shallow bay waters nearby. Toilet seat cut. Illegal, yet fun.
Kind of adorable.
Kind of adorable. Here's something that's not adorable, Jess, but in our not safe for work nonetheless. An ex-Army colonel in our last story of the day, an ex-Army colonel at MacDill shared classified battle plans to woo women.
Oh.
I don't know how hot that makes you, but it does nothing for me.
You think I'm sexy? Wait till you see my battle plan.
My large battle plans.
They're huge.
They're huge. They span a large table, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Take a look at this. Let me roll them out for you.
Oh.
For almost 4 decades, Kevin Charles Luke lived a life of service and sacrifice to the U.S., a retired Army combat veteran who worked as a high-level civilian contractor at Central Command at MacDill Air Force Base. Luke was long entrusted with some of the nation's most sensitive secrets, but it was an ill-conceived effort to impress a woman that precipitated the former colonel's remarkable downfall. On Tuesday, a federal judge sentenced Luke to 2 years in prison for sharing classified battle plans with a woman he was dating. The 62-year-old Luke stood in the Tampa courtroom weeping as he addressed the U.S. District Court Judge James Moody. I stand before you accepting full responsibility for my actions, he said. What I did was wrong. I violated the trust placed in me, and sir, I'm ashamed of that, he said. Jesus.
Do you see how hot she is?
Grow a set. That's all I've got to say. If you're going to unfurl your battle plans in front of a woman, you might as well take responsibility for it, right?
Yeah.
The sentence was less than the 3 to 4 years suggested by federal guidelines, by the way.
Wow.
After prison, Moody ordered Luke to spend a year on probationary supervision and undergo a mental health evaluation. The judge noted the challenge of balancing the totality of Luke's life, including his decorated service, with the seriousness of his crime. This is a difficult sentencing, Moody said. Luke pleaded guilty in November to a charge of unauthorized communication and of information relating to the national defense.
So if she was a spy, he just gave her all the secrets.
That's right. That's exactly what he did.
It's that easy. Just send a hot lady over.
That's right.
You don't stand a chance.
That's right. We're doomed. We're as doomed as doom can be. Got all the secrets that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, we need a palate cleanser. And I'll just put it this way, Jess. Who better to steal your underwear than some pussy?
I'm very confused by that sentence, but I can't wait to hear what you're going to tell me.
We're going to New Zealand, where a serial underwear thief at a New Zealand school was identified as a cat.
That's wonderful.
Isn't it?
My dogs love to steal underwear, so that tracks.
A serial thief who's been stealing items including towels, shoes, and underwear from a New Zealand school for over a year was finally caught on camera and identified as a literal cat burglar. Marima Stewart, principal of the Apanu School in, oh my gosh, I can't pronounce this, Wakatane, said items had been mysteriously disappearing from the school for over a year, particularly during the season while the pool was in use. Initially, we noticed single shoes and goggles and undies and towels left along the footpath into the school, Stewart told stuff.co.nz. The school posted a video to Facebook while the thief was finally caught on a security camera. The footage shows a black cat dragging a large towel across the playground. When a pair of togs or swimming trunks and a towel went missing, my office lady checked the cameras for our wee offender, and he was witnessed, and a large trash was found at the back of the PE shed, Stewart said. She said the school's groundskeeper made contact with the cat's owner, who confirmed that their pet was a notorious thief. Can we say his owner wishes that he remain anonymous? We're calling him Slinky Malinky, Stewart said. Slinky Malinky.
Naughty little cat.
She said the thefts are a learning opportunity. I think we're going to have a lot of fun writing stories about our school's Slinky Malinky, she said, and it might help our kids to remember to put their things in their bag.
That's right.
And that's
Don't leave your stuff out.
That's right. That's your palate cleanser for today.
I love that.
There you go. That'll do it for today's program. Jess, what do you have going on in your world?
Oh, not a whole lot. I have an event where I'm speaking to kids coming up next month. So that's on my website. If anyone has a child who's interested in learning how to write and do art, it's a great one. There's lots of presenters at it.
There you go. And of course, if you would like a book signed by Jess, you can go to the link in the description of this program or any of Jess's books. Go to the link in the description of this program and get those. If you'd like True Crime Tuesday swag, it's available right now in the Darkness Radio Show shop, darknessradioshow.com. There's the link to that as well in the description of this program. Coming up tomorrow, Supernatural News. And later in the week, we're going to be exploring a book that combines supernatural with a little bit of romance as we
Ooh.
follow up Valentine's Day. And end the weekend with a little bit of romance.
A little love.
A little love. So there you go. All right, that'll do it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for continuing to not only listen to, but watch this program on video. If you're not doing so, by the way, it's on YouTube, the original Darkness Radio, or just go to darknessradioshow.com and watch both the video and the audio right there in the same place when you click on the show that you're looking for. So for Jessica Freeburg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for continuing to watch and listen to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday.
For more audio and video archives of True Crime Tuesday, intriguing content, fun events, and cool swag, check out darknessradioshow.com. The executive producer of Darkness Radio is Troy Palmer. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure you like and subscribe. This videocast is copyrighted for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this videocast, including audio, video, descriptions, or accounts of this show, is prohibited without the consent of Darkness Radio Management. Thank you for watching. And be sure to join us tomorrow for Supernatural News with Mally Fox.